Perfect. All right, welcome everyone. So especially we did both classes, take a minute, grab a drink. And then as you get ready to come into your seated position, just kind of come in naturally. But I'm going to invite you tonight to switch that out. So just let yourself kind of sit and then switch that around. So whichever leg was in the back, switch it to the front. I try to do this from time to time, probably not as often as I should, but it just helps to kind of even out our body. Same rules always apply for yin. Feel free to grab some pillows to sit on. That can make things more comfortable. You can also sit into a chair or have support of a wall behind you, especially in this first portion, because we're here for 5 or 6 minutes. Just taking some time to shift around a little bit if you need to shift around, but then slowly finding some stillness. Let out a nice exhale. Right, so kind of feel that decompression. I always think of my Instapot, right? When you reach out and you hit the release valve, it's like, it just all comes out, all that pressure. So let that pressure out. And then it might feel a little awkward, you know, because we're sitting with the opposite leg kind of in front. So if it takes you a little longer to settle into it, that's fine. Sitting on some pillows can release the tension on your low back. Just gradually begin to take a moment to notice how you feel. Looking for any areas that you might be tensing. Maybe a little head to toe survey. A little bit of movement, a little bit of shrug through your body. And then maybe noticing things like right side to left side. So my right knee versus my left knee. Right hip versus left hip. Not in a judgmental way, but just in a noticing way. So do I feel a little less comfortable on one side than the other? And I'm just using that for knowledge, not judgment, just knowledge. So try not to be negative in your noticing tone. I'm always so tight on my left side, or my left hip always hurts. Right? Try not to be negative in the tone. Just notice, my left side seems a little tighter than my right. Got it. Noted. Moving on. And then I would be able to use that knowledge for myself, right? So I could, if I were rolling, roll that tighter area a little more, or stretch that tighter area a little more. And then perhaps noting that the opposite side, the side that does not feel as tight, maybe I need to put a little more strength into that side. Could it be that that side is weaker or hypermobile? And so I want to strengthen it so it's not overly mobile. Kind of observing yourself as a physician, noticing. And then finally begin to kind of check in with your thoughts and your feelings. So by starting with the physical body, we've kind of brought ourselves inward, we've brought ourselves into this moment, more of a focus here, so that our mind maybe isn't so crazy and wandering. But now turn that attention, turn that focus to the thoughts, to the feelings, to the emotions. and listening, noticing to what you're telling yourself. Noticing the words that are used. I was reading right before this class, and I hadn't thought about this so much until I read it. But it was even saying things like, rather than saying, my strep throat, right? Just whatever, instead of claiming it, really, instead of saying it's mine, like my strep throat, my illness, whatever it may be, to, third person it. This strep throat, this sore knee, so that we separate our being from this ailment. Or maybe noticing things like saying, I always mess that up, or I always do that wrong. I'm always late. Because then when we claim that, right, we become that. Just becoming aware and noticing our thoughts. And then take a nice inhale, and on your exhale, just sigh it out. And then kind of let go, forgive yourself for all that stuff that you just noticed yourself doing, right? Because we do things incorrectly, if you will. Let it go. Forgive yourself. And then take a moment and, claim to yourself, I am this divine being. I am this perfectly created individual. And I'm just experiencing life. And I'm just going through it. I don't need to label myself as bad or even necessarily good, right? I'm just this divine being experiencing life. Bringing the palms of your hands together, lift your thumbs to your heart, right? And take a moment and just love yourself right here. We are all just experiencing life. We're all doing our best. When you're ready, release your hands. Take a moment to let your eyes open. So we're going to start by extending the right leg long and then just placing the left foot in, like on the inside of the right leg. So knee is up. And then feel free to kind of shift yourself around a little bit. We'll bring this left hand inside this left knee and just walk our hands forward, lengthening. So a little different touch to the stretch than if the left leg were straight or even out to the side. If you can reach your foot, go for it. You could use the hold of the foot to gently pull you forward, maybe with just one hand. Lengthen through the spine. Then let the upper body rest a little bit. And then coming up that hamstring and through the glute, connecting to the back. And then just think about this left knee, kind of gently hugging it in to the outside of your left armpit. And then from here, we're going to take this left arm. So the left knee is in the left armpit, the outside of the left armpit. And then take the palm of the left hand and just reach it behind you. And then just kind of feel what happens there in your low back region as we just kind of reach it behind us. So we're starting with a little more, I don't like to say difficult, right? But the little more complicated stretches. We don't hold them as long. And then come on up here. Now you can let this left knee just fall out. It's like, oh, thank you. And we're going to take the left hand, reaching either to the outside of the right shin or the outside of the right foot, wherever it will reach. Lean forward and then take the right hand back behind you to help you kind of twist. And you might feel that come more into that outer thigh area. And then think about leaning forward as you twist. And it's not even so much about the neck, right? We can look over the right shoulder, but I can also let my neck be at ease. The twist that I'm really working on is from the belly. So think about the belly button. And then we'll release, walk it up. Take this left knee that's out to the side, now cross it over. I can keep my right leg long, or I can tuck it under me. Sink into my left hip, set nice and tall, hug the left knee in, and now gently twist over the left shoulder. Coming deeper into that glute, that outer thigh. If I want to put my left hand back behind me to twist deeper, I can. But keep pulling tall through the crown of the head. So that stretch stays in that glute. So I usually just like to keep both my hands in and helps me hold my posture better. Try to stay into that left sits bone. Try not to rock out of it. Nice. I'm just doing some kind of combo stretches here. So not holding each one necessarily as long as we sometimes do, but kind of building deeper through into that hip as we go. And then releasing, and we'll take this left leg and start to stack it on top of the right. So maybe it stacks on that inner thigh, but maybe I have to slide it out to my calf, or even out to my ankle, or maybe kind of lay it on the floor in front, depending on how tight my hips are. And then take a moment, kind of wiggle around, get a little movement through your waist. You're kind of loosening up your hips, loosening up the low back, getting all that blood pumping again. And then you can start to walk the hands forward, lengthening through the spine, maybe coming down onto your elbows. I sometimes like to just bend at my elbows and my chin can rest in my cheek, or I could use my fingers to give myself a little temple massage or a face massage or jaw massage. As I go a little bit deeper into that left hip on the stretch. It's a great little lymphatic drainage if you come from kind of the bridge of your nose and out under your eyes, and then down kind of towards that mandibular joint and right underneath the jaw. And then I can repeat that coming through a couple of different places. It's great for sinuses and just helping to drain anything that's gotten stuck in the sinuses. I can use my first fingers or my thumb. And a few more breaths here. You can come up and over the eyebrows if you like. And down through the temples and down. But just think about coming from the midline, the center of the face, and then out, down, and around, kind of right underneath the ear, the upper jaw. Just draining everything into that lymphatic, the lymph nodes, the lymphatic system. And then we'll slowly come up. Take your legs, lengthen them, wiggle them around, shake them out. Get all that blood pumping back through. And then we'll repeat that on the other side. So letting the left leg stay long, starting with the right knee up, reaching inside that right knee, maybe grabbing the foot, maybe grabbing the ankle, and just think about hugging that knee in a little bit. So we're kind of activating that inner thigh. If you can reach your foot, go for it. And then think about pulling the spine long. So if I can't reach my foot, no big deal, right? Or maybe I can reach it with one hand. A few breaths here. And then we'll take that right arm and reach it around so that palm kind of comes up or out and back. Feel that come through your low back, your glute. Couple more breaths here. Maybe take a couple of deep breaths into the back of your lungs and feel that. Nice. And then gently work up. Let that right knee fall down. And then the right hand reaches to the outside of the left calf or maybe the left foot. Pull long. And then think about twisting the belly button to the left. Now my left hand is just there for support, right? So I can reach it a little more behind me if that helps, out to the side, really wherever it's most comfortable to me. Think about lengthening the chest, lifting the chest just a little bit and twisting. So we don't want to kind of crunch in and compress our spine and then twist. We want to lengthen long. And then if you want to look over the left shoulder, you can, but it's really the twist about coming from the belly. And then we'll rise on up. And then this is where we'll take the right leg, step it over, left leg can stay long or tuck under. Hugging the right knee in, sit nice and tall. And then maybe twisting, maybe using your right hand or maybe keeping it here on your leg. Little movement through your neck, little side to side, yes or no. Make sure you're not overly squeezing, tightening your neck. And maybe a little bit of movement through your jaw. Right, make sure you're not clenching your teeth. Couple of more breaths here, really trying to sit down into that right sit bone. So we're trying not to like pull it up. And then as we release, start to stack the right leg on the left, remember in any of those positions. And then a little squirm around. Nice and even, a little side to side in the waist, circles, and then coming forward. So we do want to incorporate a little bit of that movement in with the stillness. Because when we come into the stillness, right, we're kind of stretching the area out. We're kind of, especially if we're twisting, we're not twisting so much here, but when we're twisting, like we're getting rid of kind of the blood supply, we're trying to get everything out of the area. And then we want to move to get that lymphatic system, everything pumping back again, back through our body. So even here, holding the stillness, think about the area releasing, letting go of, ridding. So that afterwards, when we bring that movement, all the good, fresh stuff comes back in. Fresh blood supply, fresh oxygen, fresh white blood cells. And then again, you can massage your face a little more here if you like that. Can lightly rub your eyes. Or another thing that sometimes really nice is to rub your hands together, kind of warm them up, and then place kind of the palm of your hand right over your eye socket. Not pressing, not putting pressure, just kind of covering. And just using that warmth of the heat that you created in your hands to relax your eyes. Taking the light away so the eyes can relax. And then you could stay there, or you can move, whatever feels best to you. A couple more breaths here. And then slowly coming up. Oh, we'll shake that out a little bit again. Oh. And then around. Nice. And then we'll go ahead and come on down to our back. So we're going to do a brief bridge here. We're not going to hold it super long, but if you have a yoga block, it can come in real handy so that you don't have to do much work at all. You can also use your hands, but we're just going to open the front side of our body for a moment, kind of in those hip flexors. So lifting my glutes up, I could use my yoga block. I could even use some pillows, right? I could stack 3-4 pillows up here. It's not like I'm trying to get a huge bridge. I'm just trying to open around the hip flexor area. And then if I feel okay, I could take those legs and lengthen them long. So some pillows could be under me, a yoga block, or I could use my hands. I could make like fists or even 2 fists. I like them side by side, right? So this isn't a real big position, but it's a little bit of lifting the hip bones, or a couple of books would work as well. Just enough to kind of bring the belly and the hips a little above the heart, a little above the quads. I'm just stretching right through where these hip flexors come up and into my back. I'm going to try to hold here a few breaths. If you've got a block or a book or pillows under you, right, it feels great. You're like, I could stay here for hours. If you're holding it up with your hands or just the weight, you know, you are getting a little bit more work through the glutes. But really try to relax the belly area. Nice. Now, if you are supported here and this feels great and you want to stay a little longer, please, please do. All right, because if you've got a block under your books or pillows, this may feel great. And feel free to stay here a couple of more minutes. If you're having to work for it a little bit because you don't have the blocks or the books or anything, just go ahead and let yourself come down. Great, and then you could do a knee hug pose here, which is kind of the opposite. Or you could take your knees to one side and then I'll tell you when to switch them in about a minute. So just a couple of options if that lifted bridge position wasn't feeling good. But wherever you are, whether you're in the bridge or hugging your knees or legs to one side, really think about relaxing the body. And then if you did take your legs to one side, go ahead and take them to the other just to even this position out. I'll just come here with you. And your puppy Alexis is adorable. I've just been laying here. I can't be stressed watching your puppy playing. So a few more breaths wherever you are. And then if you're still in that bridge position, the blocks are under you, or you were just holding yourself up, slowly start to come down out of that. And then if your knees are to one side, go ahead and come onto your back and hug your knees in. And if you were already hugging your knees in, just stay right there. Let out that pressure valve. Right? Take an inhale and just that nice sighing exhale. Try to give yourself permission to be right here, right now, in this moment with your thoughts, your feelings. So a technique that I use a lot, because many of you know I've shared my story many times. I am by nature a high-strung person. I am by nature anxious. And so multiple times during the day, I may start to feel a little anxious, a little wired. And I've learned to stop myself wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, and bring myself into that moment. And I talk to myself. I'm like, okay, right here, right now. Is there something that I should be doing right in this second, that I'm concerned about? Is there a threat to me right in this second? Right? Am I unsafe? Am I, and I talk to myself along those lines because, so far the answer has always been, you're okay. You're fine. Breathe. And it resets me. And it gets that anxiety in check. Right? That stress, because most of the time we're overwhelmed about something that we're on the right path to getting there. We just let our mind jump too far ahead of us. Or depression is kind of the opposite, right? We kind of let our mind replay and replay and replay. So again, I could talk myself in, but the key is put yourself in the moment. Talk to yourself in that moment. Right here, right now. All I need to do is lie here and breathe. I feel myself start to calm down, right, then I can think about what is the one next thing that I would need to do and do it. And then the one next thing, right? Rather than letting myself get so carried away with the millions of things that I need to do, but not in this moment. When you're ready, let your legs lengthen out, your arms fall to your sides. Feel free to grab pillows, blankets. And in this moment right here, all we need to do is take a minute to rest. And I can pretty much 99.9% of the time assure you that if you go ahead and give yourself an extra 5 minutes here, it's all going to still be good. Okay, because in that time that you spend here, the amazing, awesome goodness that's happening into your body far outweighs anything that you would really accomplish in that 5 minutes. And don't we all probably waste more than 5 minutes like on social media? Right? So I could just give myself 5 extra minutes here rather than checking Facebook later, maybe. Yeah, I'm talking to myself. So with that, I will leave you here. I'll log you out so you don't have to worry about, what anyone else is doing. And just take your time and enjoy. The love and light in me honors the love and light in you. Namaste.